Attention shoppers! We have a special on death!
Hey, player! Drop the chips and get me some ammo!
They were here, now they're not. Such is life in the... fuck it.
If you shoot 1,000 bullets, you hit maybe one time. Poor Russian.
What is nostalgia? The dictionary defines it as a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, and this is typically for a period or place with happy personal associations, normally being triggered by any of the 5 senses: smell, sight, touch, taste, and sound. Now on that note, what triggers your nostalgia for COD Zombies? Is it the sound of the mystery box spinning to give you some random weapon? Maybe it's the sight of Fluffy, the Hellhound, coming to give you a much needed max ammo. Or it could be the feel of the controller in your hand, as you run round after round with no end in sight. For me, I get my nostalgia fix from the sound of our 4 favorite crew members bickering and bantering as the rounds roll through.
Ah, where is a simple-minded fool when you need one? Dempsy!
A system of 4 different crew members for each player to randomly have the chance of playing as started all the way back in the first DLC zombie map, Verrückt. Though these 4 characters would only be used in that single map, they were definitely the start of something great. The next DLC map would give us the 4-character crew of the insane Nazi Dr. Edward Richtofen, the hot-headed American soldier Tank Dempsy, the drunk Russian Nikolai and Takeo. Each character having their own varying personality and crazy story to tell through their quotes and interactions on each map, these 4 will become the main epicenter of the overarching plot that is COD Zombies, with any and all events ultimately always having these 4 at the head. From their introduction in Shino Numo all the way to the final DLC map for Black Ops named Moon, we follow the story of Richtofen trying to make his way into the Aether and gain control of the zombies he helped create. All of this information is drip-fed to us players through these 4 characters and the Easter eggs they complete in each map. Whether it's obtaining certain items from certain places, like the Golden Rod in Call of the Dead, where you don't actually play as our set 4, but they do show up as voices behind a door to help you obtain the rod.
What did you do, Richtofen?
I did nothing. There's a light switch. Oh, I think I found a lever. Perhaps this will turn on the light.
No! Let go! That's not a lever! Richtofen!
Each step along the way poses as a substantial step in the grand scheme, only told through these 4 characters, that all come to a great head in Moon, where Tank, Nikolai, and Takeo find out their memories had been wiped or altered, and that Richtofen wasn't who he let off to be the entire time. None of this story would matter if we were still just playing as the 4 unnamed soldiers stuck in Verrückt. Richtofen and crew became the story, and I guarantee is the reason most players continue to return to the games. This can be seen with the dislike of the crew we see for most maps in Black Ops 2. This would be Stuhlinger, Russman, Marlton, and Misty, 4 new characters for a seemingly new story. After the events of Moon, the world is now not only overrun with zombies, but also covered in smoke, lava, and destruction from the launching of missiles from the moon base. But we would soon hear that same voice of Richtofen echoing inside of Stuhlinger's head, giving fans a sigh of relief as our beloved crew must still be out there in this story.
You know, I used to be in your shoes. Then I became an all-powerful, omnipotent being.
But I've dragged on enough. What is this video truly about? With the launch of Black Ops Cold War, Treyarch will release the first version of Zombies to deviate from this mechanic, with a set crew of 4 players no longer being in the story, and the story being told through a different means. Instead, we would play as specifically chosen operators that ultimately had nothing to do with the story, other than being fodder to be sent to get the mission done. The story was now being told through the chats of whatever leader or villain that was present for whatever specific map, and now instead of having a battle-hardened apocalyptical survival team, you were playing as military personnel, simply carrying out a mission. The personal connections our characters had to the story was lost. Instead of Nikolai drinking himself stupid because after the brainwashing that's all his body could remember,
I am on my way, Dempsey! Just as soon as I finish this shot of vodka.
we get Frank Woods celebrating his headshot prowess.
Accuracy's always number 1.
Instead of Takeo coming to terms with the fact that the one leader he had looked up to was the one causing all his pain,
are you so blinded by your own loyalty? The orders came from the Emperor himself.
We get Captain Price's flatulence problems.
2,000 destroyed, at least.
Now, this isn't to say that simply because Richtofen and crew weren't there was the reason the new operator system was bad. There's been plenty of maps without them. 5 was a launch map on Black Ops that featured playable characters Roosevelt, Nixon, Castro, and Robert McNamara. But for the map they were on, the story would only work that way, and still became tied with the main zombie story taking place at the same time with the DLC map Ascension. Call of the Dead featured actors Danny Trejo, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Robert Englund, and Michael Rooker. With the theme of this map being a movie set gone wrong, it also featured Zombies movie legend George Romero. But as said earlier, Richtofen and crew were still on the map, though in voice alone, still present and still moving the plot along. Mob of the Dead featured prisoners Michael Finn O'Leary, Albert Weasel, Salvatore De Luca, and Billy Handsome, who were locked in Alcatraz, which is the location of this map. A map that seemed to have no direct connection to our main crew, but would be proven otherwise with the remade version Blood of the Dead in Black Ops 4. What I'm saying is, any map could have any character and still be considered good or even as one of the best. But those characters need to fit the theme of the map and feel like there is a reason that these 4 characters are the ones that you play as. And with the choose your own operator where I can play directly as the characters I'm saving in that map's Easter egg, I might as well just read the story on my own time. Why do I care who I play as? If their being there truly matters none to the story at all. Why show Richtofen at the end of Cold War if next game he isn't present, and most likely next time he is, he'll just be another voice off the map. I'm not sure what could have caused this change in direction, but I truly think it is one of the worst they could do. Worse than taking out the iconic Juggernaut from Black Ops 4, worse than having no round-based map on COD Vanguard for most of the game's lifespan. With older maps, these characters had a slew of phrases and lines to say at any given time, giving the player something to laugh about or speculate on as they played the maps. These characters would interact with the map, as well as interact with each other, adding layers upon layers to the stories behind each map. We as players got to witness these characters grow and change with each passing map, something lost with the new operator system. I couldn't care less if Lawrence Sims made it out of Die Machine dead or alive. Another random 4 would be sent and the mission would carry on. The stakes were higher, the quotes were better, and the emotions were deeper.
I honestly thought you were going to let me bleed to death. It was so sad.
The cycle is broken, Herr Doctor. As such, insurance policies are no longer needed.
I'm afraid if Treyarch doesn't take a step back and look at what made zombies so popular to begin with, they might end up killing a franchise with so many dedicated fans. In line with my last video, I can't help but think this new operator system is something to cut costs and ultimately create more revenue through selling operators and such in the shop. It's cheaper to have some multiplayer voice actor to throw some lines at the wall and hope they work instead of paying a voice actor for hundreds of gameplay specific voice lines. Now, instead of just being Richtofen or Nikolai as default, now they can charge us for them in the shop, as seen with Samantha being only purchasable in Cold War and not free to those who completed the very Easter egg to save her on Firebase Z. Black Ops 4 already sold us Richtofen and crew as Blackout characters, so what's stopping them from putting a price tag on them in later Call of Duty titles? I truly miss the old style of characters. With my whole channel being based around Richtofen, I love zombies to death and want to make many more videos on it. But if this style of zombies that we've seen for the last 2 years sticks around, then I'm not really holding my breath. The story was concluded in Black Ops 4, but with Samantha and Richtofen showing up in Cold War, I'm afraid they're going to drag these characters around and just poke and prod at us and hope our nostalgia kicks in instead of giving us what we truly want. I get that voice actors grow old and change and our beloved crew wouldn't be around forever, but a legacy better than this is needed for sure. Sorry, this video is a little bit on the short side, but I definitely wanted to thank you all for watching, and especially thank you for supporting my last video. I have plenty more I want to talk about regarding Call of Duty's multiplayer and its zombies mode, and I hope you truly enjoyed. It's been Richto, and I'll see you in the next video.